A three-time world champion. And you're listening to the American Adversaries Drive Time. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Bang!
We're back. Are you going to be a champion, folks? Do you have the question that's going to win the prizes today? 407-774-8255. What would you ask President Obama? And our first question from Al is, why shouldn't the American people detain, imprison, and convict you for signing the NDAA, which gives you the privilege of doing that to us?
Chris, imagine the press room when he made that statement. Wouldn't it be great, just the film that looks on everybody's face when he makes that statement to the president?
Indeed.
But that's what we're trying to extract from our audience. I mean, there's going to be some good ones, and there should be some good laughs before it's over.
All right, let's see what Mike has to say. What do you have for us there, Mike? Thank you for calling.
Thanks, guys. Mine's kind of a two-parter. One is, how come you only identify with criminals like Freddie Gray, Trayvon Martin, and Michael Brown? And how come when you hear protect and defend, and destroy?
How come you only identify with criminals?
Yeah, I mean,
and what was the second? And what was the second part?
Well, when he hears protect and defend, like i.e. his oath, he hears what he does is attack and destroy. Okay,
and why do you hear attack and destroy instead of?
Oh, that's good. He's right on. And good job, Al.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not Al.
Mike.
The Mike. That's Mike.
Big Mike. Pizza eater.
That's right. All right. Yeah.
Definitely. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Thanks for participating, Mike. So if you have a question for President Obama, try to keep it 30 words or less. What would it be? All right. We got 2 in the can. As I said, we'll be taking them throughout the show, and we'll decide the winner before we go off the air tonight. So let's keep Jeff busy in there. 48255 if you have a for President Barack Hussein.
His thing on that racial aspect is, again, on this 6,000 prisoners released, part of that is one of the largest ever. And part of this, realistically, is he believes that prison is too black and it needs to be whitened up. Isn't that ridiculous for us? A president to make a statement and even infer something like that.
Well, that's been part of their argument, is that those drug sentencing laws unfairly punished black convicted criminals.
My question always
because of the nature of
what is your proportion of time relative to your do you think that has anything to do with how the prison is allocated?
Well, it's what they've done. And by the way, Congress has come to agreement, evidently, or fast approaching agreement on a new sentencing guidelines bill, which will sort of dial back the minimum mandatory sentences, which is responsible for what Barack Obama is trying to deal with here in his own executive order type fashion.
Another serious
and
vein.
they'll give the judge more leeway in sentencing.
Another serious vein. Clinton smoked pot, and who knows, probably crack when he was in college. Same thing with Obama.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Just because you people have a problem that carried through your whole life, we don't want to suffer these people in the streets, and because look at the amount that go back into prison, right?
Yeah, well, that's, as I said, it's...
Yeah, I don't want to suffer from their problems.
A lot of whether or not these guys and gals end up back in the prison is where are they going when they get out of the prison, and if they don't have a solid foundation, well, that's what I'm saying. If they don't have a solid foundation to go to, their likelihood of ending up back on the streets, dealing drugs or doing whatever, is extremely high. And him just opening the doors up, unfortunately, is not going to change that part of the equation.
And Chris, you saw this yesterday. They announced, the murder rate from 2014 to 2015 in our top 8 cities is up an average of 50% this year from last year.
Well, it's, the police departments are having to rethink how they conduct their daily...
I understand the police side.
Business,
yeah. And I was going to say, I think, and we all know where the problem lies. It's in the ghettos. And the reality of it is that's created by the Democrats, decade in, decade out.
Yeah, well.
And if we want it resolved, we got to have, as the president said, a conversation.
Yeah.
Anytime you want to have a conversation, give us a call. We'll be happy to talk about it.
Yeah, well, it certainly is. Listen, the phone calls are stacking up, so we're going to have to go to the phone lines to get to some of these questions in. We'll pick this up on the other side, but let's go. We're looking for, folks, what your question to Barack Obama would be should you have the opportunity to lay one on him. Let's go to Barbara from Orlando. Barbara, thank you for calling tonight.
I have a question on funding.
Okie doke.
When the president flies around to support these Democrats for re-election,
right,
and they're using the Air Force One, who's paying for the gas?
When you fly around, who pays for it, huh?
Yeah, when you're going out to do fundraisers for the Democratic, politicians to be reelected.
Right. So
I'm a Republican. I don't want my money.
I think, Barbara, what they do is let's say he's flying to L.A., and spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think he arranges like a phony stop, like he's doing some business. And,
exactly.
Oh, coincidentally, that night I got a giant fundraiser. I think that's what they do, but I think that's a great question. And I think, again, I would like to see the IRS audit them. Oh, that's right. They won't do that.
Oh, that would be nice.
But I really do think that's how he does it. He sets up a phony deal, and then he has a real fundraiser, and then, he collects money that night, that morning, and then he gets on his plane and spends your money, and then he returns home.
In fact, you're exactly right.
He's a wonderful moral guy.
That's exactly how they do it. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe George W. Bush did the same thing, though not nearly to the extent that Barack Obama has done it. But excellent question, Barbara.
That was good.
Yeah, thank you.
I like it.
You're in the competition. Thank you for listening.
You're running strong.
Yes, sir. Thanks for listening. Let's take one more from Azita from Orlando. Hi, Azita. How are you today?
Hi, very well, thank you. I have a serious question to ask him. I want to ask him that when he was running for the presidency for the first time, he was promising of changing fundamentally, America fundamentally. I wanted to know how much of that change that he had in mind he has accomplished. How much more work does he need? Does he think the United States needs to get to the ideal USA? And is there anything that he regrets that he has done?
Okay, so when he promised to change the U.S. fundamentally, how much does he think he has changed it? How much more? And does he regret anything he has changed? Boy, that is a good one.
That was outstanding.
That is an excellent question.
I would like to give an answer to that, but unfortunately, time's running out.
Thanks, Azita. You are in the running, too.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
Stay on the line. We'll be back.
The Answer. With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Majority Leader